We got some fucking fan art, Nikki.
What?
Yeah, we got fan art sent to our email. This is legitimately amazing.
Oh my
I don't.
god.
It's official. We officially have human insect sonas.
Yes!
Yeah, this is from D-Tournament Arc, who I think has sent us some questions in the past.
Oh my, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think the back of that beetle, like on me, is like one of those Mario beetles that you ground pound on.
Shit!
In
You're
Galaxy.
right. The
Yeah.
fucking layers to this.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, send that in the other server. So
Yeah.
Everybody needs to see this.
I will probably reply to this email and say like, hey, if you have a Twitter, please post this so we can retweet it, because this is perfect.
Oh my god. Do we have like little fuzzy socks on?
I think they're just like indeterminate.
Yeah.
Little
Little grabber
Yeah.
feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
Little grabbers.
little grippers.
Grippers. Little grippers. Okay. Yeah, this is incredible. I'm so happy about this.
Yeah. This is
second.
great.
This is the second piece of art that our podcast is inspired.
Yeah,
we also got
yeah.
Ashton No Bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I saw that one. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
it was great.
It actually looked like the panel. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
The fact that that happened before there were two separate references in seasonal anime that we're watching.
Yeah.
Fucking Bochi and Akiba Made War both had Ashita no Joe references.
Oh,
I almost said
yeah,
Ashita
right.
no Blood.
That's the real one.
Yeah, they were referencing us.
Yeah. Did you get everything set up, Tim? Or
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to
Cool.
go.
Cool.
I think.
Fixed up.
Let me turn my metronome off. Logic. That's the. Okay. I should be.
Podcast to a metronome sounds so sick.
Yeah, I record all my podcasts at 120 BPM. If you guys didn't know.
Right.
I always record mine at 7/8.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, well, like halfway through, I switched to like 13.8 or something.
Yeah,
just something interesting.
It's alternating sometimes. God damn it.
The actual content of the podcast really changes when you change the time signature. So.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Okay, there we go. Hello and welcome to Human Insects. I'm Hazel.
And I'm Nicky.
And once again, 2 episodes in a row as a result of our end of year special needing to come out after this. We have another lovely guest on. This time it is our dear friend and co-founder of the Once Alive and Well, now still alive in our hearts, Pop Spirit, Timothy Lindsay.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be back on the new iteration of the original Pod Spirit.
Yeah, shit. I forgot that you were on Pod Spirit for one episode.
Oh yeah, right. It was
That was still so early that like all of those like first 5 episodes have just been expunged from my brain.
Yeah, as there should be. Any podcast, the first few episodes you just need to get rid of those. And
except for this show.
Yeah.
We haven't had a bad episode yet.
Yeah. Now we started really. We started good, and I'm happy with it and stuff. I mean, but because it's technically like the 35th or something episode.
Right.
So
Yeah.
But yeah,
podcast is old enough to run for presidency.
But it's sick.
I feel like So for the listeners who may have been confused about it, originally when we were switching from Pop Spirit to Human Insects, I had it planned that we were going to keep the Pod Spirit name around until the comp released, and then do kind of one final episode to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But what wound up happening was the comp took longer than we expected, and we had to shut shit down a little bit early. I was already planning to go on that hiatus, and everything just kind of made sense to stop it a little bit early and then pivot to this one. But in the fray, that kind of like big finale was lost a little bit, and that was basically just like my attempt at, or my idea with it was just to, you know, say goodbye to Pop Spirit by kind of giving an oral history of it for more for us than for listeners, even, because I don't really think anybody's clamoring to know the full story.
Yeah, we don't care about you guys. We're just here to shoot the shit.
Well, no,
you know?
more my thought is like in being transparent, it was an extremely self not self-aggrandizing, but it was a self-motivated decision to just like make something that I could look back on when my memory on it had started to slip a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're more or less doing that now, just less rigorously so, I'll say.
Yeah.
I didn't come into this trying to assemble a timeline. I figure we'll just kind of talk about shit and let it be.
Let it rock. Yeah.
But yeah, how have you been, Tim?
I'm actually doing pretty well. I just finished my undergrad degree, so
hey, let's go!
Congrats.
I'm finally done with that part of my life. I can focus on other things now. I have some free time, so I'm doing pretty well. You know, I think like my college life sort of coincided with like Pop Spirit and stuff. So
that is true.
It does feel like timing wise, everything's just at like a good stopping point in my life. So I get some time to
definitely
rest and to look back and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of I don't think we could have picked a better time.
Yeah, no, it's a great time.
Yeah. Do you think we should just kind of like just kind of dive right in?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Where do we begin?
For the listeners, Pop Spirit actually wasn't Tim and I's first label together. We started it when I had we started a first one when I had like just graduated high school.
And I was 15, so we were doing quality work at that point.
Yeah, we were 15 and 17.
Yeah.
So
I do want to say, whenever this is later, but like, I don't know, we'll kind of loop it around and everything, but like whenever I joined the picture much later, I was like really surprised by how young we were, Tim. I was like, oh.
So was I.
Yeah, so I guess we started Pop Spirit when I was 19. Yeah, so even then, like I was young. I was young then. So I've just been online. You know,
right? It's just been online. It's just scrounging around. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, you guys met. How'd you get? I don't know. How did you guys meet?
Oh God, honestly, it was just through kind of mutually enjoying some of the same really obscure internet things. I don't want to name names just for sake of dredging up the past.
Right.
Those who know.
Yeah.
But,
if you know, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, it was we just kind of met through some mutual friends, through some mutual interests. We were all kind of reply guys for the same few people.
Yeah, we were we were reply guys. I think that's definitely how we met. Like just over Twitter, just replying and eventually being reply guys to each other, and which is also known as friends. So
yeah. I remember I didn't even I had barely even started fucking around with music. I don't even think I had really written a song yet, but you know, sometimes you're young and you have a lot of inspiration, but you don't really have the motivation to figure out where to start creatively. And so I think sometimes you make certain really like kind of overbearing decisions in an attempt to try to like really just throw yourself head into something. Like, oh, I'll have to learn how to do all of these things if I just like decide to do a 3-hour long prog rock record as my first piece of music or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't do anything like that. And I find that usually when you kind of do set out to do something like that, it doesn't usually come together. But I had the either luck or unluck, we'll say, of having someone who is equally motivated to kind of pursue the insane in over our heads idea of trying to run a net label as teenagers.
Yeah. The way I remember it, I don't even think you had in the first year we met. I don't even think you were like you had played guitar or anything. I think that was like just after a few months. Yeah, so after a few months of like knowing each other, I think I remember you getting one, and so like that was that was the starting point of what I remember. And I was in middle school band, and I played saxophone, so I was like, well, I know music kind of, so. From there, like I picked up keyboard and I mean, I knew like scales and things on the keyboard, but I wasn't like talented or anything. So
you had beat tapes though.
Did I? Yeah, that did come pretty early. I guess maybe in about a year of knowing each other, because we met. I was 13.
Well, yeah, like I remember you just like dropped a beat tape out of nowhere. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah. No, that was, I think at the suggestion of one of our mutuals, just like to do that. And I guess I was just getting into like hip hop and that sort of thing. So from there, I was like, well, I can probably learn how, like, making this is objectively easier than like making my own like song and everything. So if I just have to find samples and like learn how to loop it and stuff. So within about like a year, because I think it was like 8th grade or something. So I was like 13, 14. I had made my first beat tape, and from there I was doing that for another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And then yeah, so around the time we started seriously talking about forming a label, we both had like very minimal but like still more than nothing song experience under our belts. Like I think I was kind of like recording shitty guitar parts on like Audacity with like a shitty Logitech mic. In like my grandparents' like basement.
That's how you got to start. That's
how all the greats start, with a Logitech mic, Guitar Hero mic, like anything like that. You're destined for greatness. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Like this is gonna be a separate history episode for another time. But like whenever I was first starting out writing music and stuff, it was definitely like, well, I mean, we got the Rock Band mic. It has a USB on it. It's like,
it really liberated a whole generation.
Seriously,
technology, all that. It just sucks.
That and when people found out that the Rock Band keyboard could also work as a MIDI keyboard.
Yes, ass. I used that when my full scale MIDI keyboard broke. I used the Rock Band one. With a MIDI to USB adapter that I had laying around.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I remember people were using the DJ Hero controller as like a launcher as well.
That's so sick.
That I can never get into. I never found my way to the DJ Hero kit. I think that was like a little bit more expensive because like Guitar Hero and Rock Band and stuff had been out for a while, so the guitars were
and those
cheap
were like they got like discounted pretty fast. But I mean, this first label started out as a joke.
So I've been thinking about this, and part of the reason like why it's related to why part of the reason Pop Spirit kind of closed down, but I think like net labels were in an interesting position to form at that time because this was pre tax on internet purchases. So
right.
So like all of these different net labels would pop up, and it would just be like it'd be under like a Bandcamp or something. And you just have a compilation of people. Oftentimes it was EDM and like middling quality and stuff. So I just
EDM or like I mean there were like a lot of chiptune labels. Like every chiptune micro scene across the country had like its own net label. That would usually put out like 2 or 3 releases, and then they would all just move on. Every now and again you managed to find, and this is true of electronic music, this is true of emo bands, and like later, like bedroom pop was kind of just starting to be like a significant thing. Like I think those first few teen suicide records kind of blew the not blew the load. What is the term? Blew the lid off of
the load.
It kind of blew the lid off of like making bedroom pop. So suddenly everybody was picking up cheap tape decks when that was still a thing you could do.
Yeah, as was I, but for beat tapes.
Yeah, right. I think like 2011 was when they kind of like broke big, and then you kind of first started to see the ripples of that influence around the time, maybe a little bit beforehand, that we were assembling our label. But from where we were standing and the groups we ran in, it was mostly, yeah, like you said, like EDM labels.
Yeah, and so like I just saw a bunch of those pop up, like wasn't super impressed, and having that like teen naivety and just like that spirit of life, like just feeling like we could do something like kind of, we can skirt the system and like make something kind of unique and cool or whatever. So
like I do remember that we were like like I think we trusted ourselves to be able to make something cool, but I think the idea was mostly like, even if we're not putting out the most refined stuff, like we are kind of a niche within the people we know if we set out to do something more like quote unquote organic musically.
Yeah, I think it was just like I kind of recognized a niche, and like my past appearance on Pod Spirit, I'm all about business. So I saw a gap in the market, and I think we just had the opportunity to jump on it. And kind of like, to give it credit, and not that we put out anything great, but like to kind of give it credit, like we did do that.
A few good releases.
Yeah, we did do like we did find like a niche, and like we did okay with what we had and like the skills that we had at that time. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it was the sort of thing where like the first few releases you do, and sometimes this spans years and years and years, like it did for me, was you put out a record and your friends buy it and you make like $30, and then you spend that on like treating your friends to pizza.
Yeah.
And like that's what you get, and that was definitely the case with our first label. It was a lot of like just like doing the stuff because we didn't have to have like full-time jobs.
Oh yeah, totally. Like we were like neat lights, like
exactly.
We were like barely working, like kinda. Some of us were in school and stuff, and
I had a job at fucking Spirit Halloween. I remember I was texting you at the fucking like dressing room. Like they needed somebody to let people in and out of the dressing room that they set up.
Nice.
But there was like this little cubby that they had where you would put like, I don't know, like fucking like a wet floor sign or whatever, and I could slip my phone into there, and we would plan Pop Spirits, or the first label that we had. We would plan the stuff for that label before it launched while I was working there.
Yeah, I was working at like a mom and pop music store, so like
right.
I remember just like not, it was my first job, like not really caring, and also like I had done everything in the store, like I'd cleaned everything, I'd been done. I was just like, well, like now I got to plan, because I'm running an enterprise here, and I don't want the boss getting in the way of my business here. So
right, yeah. You got to make that grind. You got to fucking
absolutely.
Yeah.
I was like 15, 16 years old or something.
Yeah, you're well on your way to being one of those like those like teenagers in like the fucking like fancy $1 billion suits talking about how to
yeah.
If my life went down a different direction,
retire.
yeah, if my life went down a different direction, I would definitely be one of those people.
Yeah, wearing like 5 rings, like
Yeah.
I would have my own course.
But instead, you
everything.
fucking accidentally surrounded yourself with a bunch of fucking gay nerds who made bad lo-fi music.
Yeah, totally. And my life turned out for the worst because I'm kidding. No, but yeah, that whole first label started off as like a joke because I saw that kind of gap in the market, and I was just like, we should just do the opposite. So like it should be like lo-fi indie sort of stuff, like more acoustic, like dark web, like just I was so
we joked about putting it up on the dark web. I think part of the idea behind that joke was we were like, like a lot of these labels are kind of subsisting off of a cult of personality.
Yeah, and
not realizing that that's literally just music in the digital age.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We were like, well, we'll make it about the music, man.
Also, like, this was like I was just
put it up on Silk Road and so, because it's for the music.
The guy orders like he sort of undercover like LSD. He thinks it's like a PS2 game, but inside it's just like compilation like indie music, like
But if you open the cassette tape up, you'll find a few small baggies.
But no, yeah, so like I also like Bandcamp did at the time, and it still does like take significant fees, and so I was like, well, how do we like get around this? Never figured it out because it's complicated, and you have to like go through PayPal or like a credit card provider anyway, so that's gonna take a cut of your income too.
Because
cryptocurrency
our
was just
idea wasn't
starting
even like
too,
how do we make a lot of money off of this. It was like, how do we not actively lose money?
Because we had no jobs or like barely worked.
Like the way that we had it set up at that time was it was like we had a few artists that weren't us that we wanted to be able to give them what little money they actually made off of the label, but we knew that by virtue of already having to receive a cut from PayPal and Bandcamp, like it wouldn't make sense for us to skim a little bit more off the top for us, especially when like that 30 cents to us would be nothing, but that extra 30 cents to the artist who actually worked on the thing is going to winds up making more of a significant difference. So
like the money like that I was making off my projects, or like I don't know like what each of us were making, like I know I didn't make a lot of money off that, so in fact I made like nothing, but like some of those projects were did make some money, and it's like to take another like percentage over top of the like the PayPal and Bandcamp fees, like it did seem wrong, and I know we like
especially because like the one artist who did see like significant returns made like a few $100, was in really dire straits at the time.
And it's like I was like living at home like I was 16, like I didn't need that,
exactly.
So it didn't matter.
We were just in different places in our lives that and
it's crazy that like adults like trusted us or at least like let us release music. It's just like so bizarre that was the case, and every time we talked to someone that was like we were punching above our weight, like it was just crazy that could happen.
I mean, we got a lot of really genuine, even the people who said no really took us seriously and seemed to respect the principle of what we were doing. And I don't even mean like we weren't doing anything that nobody else had done, like fucking like what are those labels, like Bird Tapes or whatever. Like there were a lot of like lo-fi labels that were kind of already doing what we were doing, just seeing more success from having been there beforehand and from kind of swinging more iconic artists. And we were just like a bunch of dumb kids. So for the people who who responded very, very thoughtfully and who did decide to work with us, it was very, very sweet of them.
Yeah, and it was great just to like make more connections on Twitter and stuff, and to like everyone that was like supportive or like sent us people like our way, like that was just, it just made my whole like teenage life, like that was so cool that happened, even though it was like it was intermittent and it wasn't like a lot or anything, but it was just super cool that you could start something like that, and actually like lead to results. Like you could actually like, put out
Right.
music and
Yeah.
meet people and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Like I think the important thing to take away from this isn't like, you know, like we were wrong for doing this or that you like shouldn't do it or anything like that. Like it's much more that just like the reasons why we were doing it shook out to be just in the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
like we were doing it at the end of the day, like whatever grandiose ideas we had about it, like it was for fun and for the sake of music. And I think that like the returns that we got on that in terms of the friendships that have formed was really significant. Like I'm fairly certain, Tim, that you and I probably wouldn't be in touch if it weren't for that first label, at least not nearly as much. Like we'd probably
yeah.
still be Twitter mutuals, but I don't know that we would talk frequently or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, I probably would have been
think,
off Twitter, honestly. Like,
Well, right.
like I,
Yeah, that's
you
very
know,
true too. Yeah. Maybe we'd have each other's phone numbers.
Yeah. I mean, that's
And then I know
probably it.
myself. I know I would never text you.
Oh yeah, no. Me neither, so.
But yeah, there just kind of came a point eventually with that label where like I think it just kind of stopped making sense.
Yeah, no, and yeah, they were just like just life circumstances had changed. You know, I guess interpersonal relationships had changed related to the label and stuff. So it just didn't really make sense to continue it. And also, like I think one of the big things was like just aesthetically, we had completely changed, and like we're not like really interested in being confined to just like indie music or lo-fi music.
Yeah, like that kind of like mission statement that we set up kind of wound up like just making less and less sense as we made more music. Like I didn't really want to like originally Twinkle Park, I think I said this in the commentary for my like rarities collection or whatever. I originally had eyes to just release that and not tell anybody about it because I was like, this is like an electronic thing. That's what makes it different from this main project that I'm doing for this old label. It just doesn't make sense to keep doing it. There's no reason to.
Yeah.
Or rather, like, it doesn't make sense to do this and have it come out on this label because it's sort of like antithetical almost.
Right.
But then, you know, eventually we just kind of decided to put out whatever music we had. But yeah, even by that point, it just made less and less sense. I guess to go back to the start a little bit, it is really funny to think that that I introduced you to Brett and that like we actually did have like a kind of like a unit between the three of us for a lot of that label's run.
Oh yeah, that was like a core unit because like Brett
because
was...
I barely even knew Brett that well at the time. Like we hung out and we jammed a few times, but like we were like just like he was a year younger than me, so he was still in school after I graduated. Like we didn't really have a lot of reasons to see each other, but I was like, hey, I know this guy who does music and he like records to like a boom box. Like, I think that kind of fits what we're doing here.
Yeah, no, I remember, like, I don't remember, you know, the exact conversation, but I remember you showing me Brett's music, and I just skimmed through it, and I was like, okay. And then I heard, like, a couple songs that I really liked, and I was like, oh, okay, like, that would be, like, perfect. That's, like, what we're going after. And, no, like, Brett was super involved in the beginning of that label.
Yeah.
And, you know,
when I think about that label, I think about the recording of I'm a Ship that he did for it. Like I feel like that kind of became that label's kind of like signature like anthem almost.
yeah, aesthetically fit perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Brett was super important to that label, and also to you know bring him on with Pop Spirit, and then eventually bring Nicky too. So
yeah.
So do you remember how many years there were between Pop Spirit or the first label that we did in Pop Spirit?
I think it was 2. I think we kind of wrapped up the first label around like 2016, 2017. And then I think we got started Pop Spirit 2018, maybe 2019. I mean, it was like maybe a year and a half between
was,
planning and then like a couple years before between release. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So like, I guess this this kind of like, that.
Oh, okay. So the first comp came out March 2018. We were working on it, I think, starting November 2017.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and I think the first label ended like early 2016, late 2015. I want to say.
Gosh,
I think it was 2016.
That is such like, I don't know. That's like a weird. For some reason, and
yeah, it would have been late 2016 that the first label ended. So yeah, it was about a year and a half.
For some reason, I think, and I think like this sounds mean, but I think I just straight up forgot about the first label because I knew about it because I was like, because like
we weren't putting out anything good.
Yeah, it was like, you know, like Hazel, you and I met like.
No, I shouldn't say we weren't putting out anything good. We weren't doing anything good on it. We put out some releases that I'm still really fond of. I shouldn't say that.
But Hazel, you and I met like 2013 or something like that. I want to say.
Yeah, I think it would have been around then. Yeah.
I almost want to say 2012 because.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that would have been like when some of the the Twitch streams that we encountered each other. I think happened and everything, but like, so like I'd been aware of you and I knew you did music and I would listen every now and again and stuff, but like I just never like fully engaged with like the whole label or whatever because I just didn't like, well, one, I wasn't really like Bandcamp like scrounging as much or whatever. After high school, like I don't know, like my Bandcamp memories are mostly like centered around like 2010, 2011 is like following like local bands and like certain like weird like there's like a weird like California like math scene that I was like kind of like interested in a lot and everything like with like bands like Post Madonna and
oh shit yeah
The Speed of Sound and Seawater and stuff like there's like a small scene that was happening there. I don't know what part of California. I just know it was. I'm pretty sure it's SoCal and everything. But like there's like little.
I guess Post Madonna was actually based out of Seattle, so I guess it was more of a general West Coast thing. What is happening to my voice?
Yeah,
I'm gonna grab water. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
I just know Post Madonna was like real chummy with like some of those other math bands I was like listening to from around California, but so like I was kind of more like involved like scrounging around there and everything, and then I kind of had like stopped whenever my high school band had stopped and eventually I just kind of ended up like I dabble and like hear a couple of like Hazel's releases. I think I listened to like I'm sure I listened to some of the Larkspur on there as well.
Yeah, aesthetically, so much of that stuff would have been just so different.
Yeah,
from what you were listening to and especially doing at that time.
Yeah, but like I was aware of it. But I think I'd like forgotten about it, so I just imagined there being a much bigger gap of time like between the two and stuff, especially whenever you guys ended up approaching me about Pop Spirit, which I'm sure you guys I'd love to hear about.
Well, I guess that is an important part of it too, is that the label had kind of ceased operations, quote unquote, outside of a few rogue releases in like the last year. Because I went through a really big dry spell where I just hated everything I was writing.
Yeah.
In the run up to the first EP that I put out on Pop Spirit, I fucking had like 50 fucking songs that were just like in various states of being written that were all contenders for a future release that just never really came together.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really focused on like putting music out, and like I'd kind of lost interest in the label part of the label because, you know, as you get older, your time just gets more limited, and a lot of the effort that I was putting into that label when it was still really fresh and exciting just kind of didn't really make as much sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I guess that goes into how Pop Spirit started.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Tim, do you remember our first few conversations about pop spirit?
Yeah, because I was working at the Clark's shoe store, and I
Shouts out.
yeah, shouts out Clark's, and I
It's no
remember like
Burlington, but
no Burlington, of course. But I remember like we were like texting each other. I was texting you during work at least, and I remember we had a conversation where we were just like, yeah, I kind of like missed the label thing, like organizing projects is a lot of fun. And I guess at some point we were just like, okay, like let's sit on this decision because like, we don't know where this is going to go if we really want to do it. We did another label, so it's like,
yeah, that
is
is true. Yeah, I remember like we were kind of anxious about kind of not even making the same mistake, but just about like putting our cart before the horse. Like I think we joked about like we don't want to have to like fuck, how did we put it? It was like we don't want to have another baby just for the sake of the marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it didn't, and luckily, like I don't think it turned out that way.
No,
like not at all.
No.
But yeah, I remember like I was at work, I was texting you about it, and eventually, you had like a group or like a list of people to go through, and like we were deciding on like who to reach out to, people you knew, and we were like, okay, we're gonna bring Brett
because
back on
by that point I did have
that.
more connections. Like I had done a few local shows and met some bands, and I'd also just made more like internet connections. So I think we kind of had a bigger repertoire of people. Yeah, I guess around that time I was getting, I would have been getting more involved in the local scene. Like I met Rodrigo. I was living with Spencer.
Yeah.
From Gabriel at the time. And we were just kind of like, I guess part of what probably would have inspired me was that I was working with so many different musicians at the time and doing a lot of recording that I was like, well, shit, I wish I kind of had like a place to congregate all these people whose work I really like and I'm excited about.
Yeah, I kind of remember that now too. Like, you living with Spencer, and like it was like Spencer, Rodrigo, we had Brett, and Nicky, obviously. So it was like we had like a bigger repertoire. Of people.
That is In the interim, Pedalfold put out their first release, and when that first single dropped with that music video, like I knew Nicky. I was like, I know that they like these things, and like these are the kinds of things that they post about. But then that dropped, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, who is this really now?
I was really, really flattered by like whenever because like we put out that like video, and that video in and of itself, I don't know, I want to tell the story later with like Ryan sometime for the podcast, but we literally turned on our like phone cameras and like pressed record on all of them and then just taped them up places and then just played, and then we were just like, well, I hope that looked good. And then we decided to like have a friend come over and just point a camera at us while we like literally like no one, like we were just like, we need something because our like original like high school iteration just like we'd like there's like not really any record or like really of like the actual music because we never actually recorded anything or actually had a successful recording session, so it was like really important to me that like this all like happened and like came out, so like that was like kind of actually my first time releasing music, even though I'd been playing for years. And it was really cool hearing back just someone just going like, holy shit. And like I just was really honored by that. So I remembered that, and it was like that that EP came out in late 2016, and then
Oh wow. Yeah.
2017 in the summer would have been when we released the second, like the suite, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that was the one that I showed to people to say like we need these
Yeah,
motherfuckers on.
yeah,
Yeah, and I remember somewhere in between those two times you had started streaming, and I
right,
became a regular viewer. And that was, I think, kind of how we like really started talking like more
right,
intimately than
yeah,
just
yeah,
being
yeah.
like
I was
mutuals.
just kind of
Um,
playing games and fooling around and shit, and yeah, you would show up, and like it was always fun, and I'd be like, oh yes, it's my fucking friend. So it's like I know you from years ago on Tumblr and stuff, and so it was just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like I don't know, it went from like very friendly, like mutuals to that was the point where it's like, okay, I think we're like for real, like actual good friends now and stuff. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. And then when I recall that like I think it was one of those things where initially, you know, we were trying to kind of figure out what we wanted this label to be and kind of like how so we wanted it to be almost like a course correction from our first label. And
Yeah.
I recall that like I think initially like Petalfold didn't even necessarily cross my mind because I knew it was so different. But I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like that discrepancy
yeah,
is great
yeah,
and weird
yeah.
and
I was like,
hilarious.
uh, I was pretty shocked when you actually like sent me like because I was actually like we were in the middle of recording negatives, which took a fucking
Right,
entire
right.
year to record. Like we that
Yeah.
another story, another time. Like that's just such a can of worms. But that one took forever, and yeah, like I got the DM from you, like on Facebook, I think, or Twitter.
Yeah.
I think you messaged me on
Oh my
Facebook because I
god.
think we were Facebook friends, which is hilarious. That actually was like at the time the best place to contact me because, uh,
Yeah.
Oh, everyone was
right,
using
yeah,
Facebook Messenger
yeah.
back
Like
then. But
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pedalfold band group chat is still a Facebook Messenger group chat. So
God
um
bless.
hell
God
yeah.
bless.
yeah, so like yeah, I got the message from you and I was like holy shit. And so like I think I had just recorded a take and I was just like yeah, I sat down with Ryan. I was like what do you want to do? I was like, do you want to like record like the like release these with these guys? Because like I was like they're cool guys. Like I like, you know, I really like these people. And like, you know, and we kind of talked about it and stuff, and I think we came to the decision of just like, no, we should definitely like link up with like just on this front because at the time things were extremely slow going on the local scene, at least for my band. I don't for any Knoxville listeners and stuff. I am not going to like put the blame on the scene so much, but I just don't know that we did a great job at making people care about the band because we were so secretive and stuff. Like we were so close to the chest with our work and everything, and so it was kind of slow going on getting shows and getting things together and stuff. Also, we're all like adults, so like everybody's lives get in the way of like doing shows and our kind of music. It's like I don't know, it's you know pretty integral to have like a live presence and stuff for a lot of it I think but like this felt like an avenue of like well fuck like this will at least get it to just get it out to other people and stuff like it'll do better on this Bandcamp than it would uh just releasing it on our own and then just having only our own channels to like you know so like it just made sense networking wise and it made too much sense to kind of
Yeah.
pass up and go oh no we'll just focus on doing the local grind which again like it just didn't seem
Yeah.
like it was really going anywhere at, like back in like 2018 you know And now it seems like it seems like it's getting better. So shouts out to the local Knoxville scene. There's a fucking show here that got in the paper, or not in the paper, that got in there's a post from Revolver magazine, about a local show that happened because the Callous Cowboys did a fucking cover of Deftones at it and stuff. So I don't know, it's just weird because now I'm seeing a bunch of video of this bookstore that does shows now and stuff, and I don't know. So yeah, this was so that's all to say that Pop Spirit found us at a really kind of transitional time of recording the biggest thing we'd ever recorded, and then also not really having anywhere to release it and play shows with it and stuff, because we also just didn't know if we were going to be able to play any of it and stuff, so it was just we kind of just desperately needed anybody to hear it. and having anybody at all, like you guys that were excited to hear it and stuff, really motivated us. So that kind of gets into probably the best thing actually about the label to me is just the community aspect of it, and just being able to have a server and just have everybody kind of talk to each other and gas each other up. And even though Pop Spirit's gone and stuff that server is still going to be there. So we're all still going to have each other and be like, yo, what's up? What's happening with your thing? Every now and again, whenever we feel so obliged to share.
Yeah, because I think it's important to kind of be transparent that around the time I was doing all of that recording for other musicians, and around the time we were kind of plotting to get Pop Spirit back on its feet, I was kind of coming at it from the angle of these friends that I've met through this local scene are locals, they don't really have an online presence, and their music isn't getting put out to people who haven't seen their faces before. And at that point, I had I wouldn't even say I had a following online. I had less than 1,000 Twitter followers, but that was a lot from where I was standing. It still is a lot. And so I was kind of well, look, I have, this modicum of a platform. I think I can use this to launch something really significant. And I want to bring these people on whose work I believe in, and kind of make it happen. One of the big ground rules that I set with Pop Spirit was that my first priority with having people work with the label was that I just knew them intimately and had a good foundational relationship with them. And that continued all the way to the end. I think we only added one new member throughout the entire run of the label, and that was Christian, who I was in a band with for a long time. And that was kind of difficult in some ways, creatively, or just in terms of always having things to put out and kind of building an audience. It was kind of difficult. But every single time I tried to think of people who I could reach out to that kind of weren't already spoken for, just never really felt right. Because I just wanted to keep it people that I really knew and cared about and loved. And I think that was definitely for the better. I'm still on I don't want to say I'm still on great terms with everybody, because that makes it sound like there's some kind of reason for me not to, I am still very, very close with everybody on that label. Even after I moved away from that local scene, and I don't think that would necessarily be true if we hadn't had Pop Spirit, kind of much in the same way that was true of the much smaller community that we had with that first label.
And in both cases, just having any bit of a following on any platform was enough to basically start a label. If you knew some people, you could do that. And if there's any teenager out there that wants to start another net label, like, you can totally do it. It's totally possible. You will find like some kind of small audience pretty soon, like after your launch. I mean, and starting Pop Spirit too, like our launch was like, for what it was, like fairly successful. Like, we had a comp, we had kind of like the aesthetic of the label, we had like a website even at the time.
Yeah.
Like we had planned everything out like pretty well, and like I think that paid off because people are excited to see new things online. So like anything that's like vaguely interesting, like people will definitely flock to.
Yeah.
So.
And again, looking at the sales of that first comp, it was definitely people we knew for the most part.
Yeah. It was also like dramatically better than the first label. Like even just through people we knew, like just like a big step up from anything we sold on the first one.
Yeah, like I think something important to make clear is that part of the reason why Pop Spirit felt so big when we first released it was that we had all of our individual circles coming together. We had scene friends, local scene friends. We had my internet friends. We had all of like Nicky's people. So on and so forth, just kind of building out this network of people who were excited about this thing that we were doing.
Yeah. And even today, like there is still like like that loose thread that kind of ties all like these random people together, like the NorCal, SoCal, Tennessee, Maryland, like now Washington, like this like random network of people and everyone in between that lives in wherever now. So
yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Tim, what do you remember about the like writing and recording of that first comp? Because that was like one of the big things was that like we like directly collaborated on music together for like the first time, basically. You and I, after having done that label and just like kind of
I don't think
really
I ever thought about
directly.
that.
Yeah, we had never worked on music together.
That's weird. That's really cool shit for your first collab.
Yeah, the first intro and outro, although I barely did anything on that outro, was Tim and I's first like time passing a Logic project file back and forth.
Yeah, and you did the bass on my first song.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I guess I did that beforehand even. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I did some production on your music too, or like just mixing or whatnot.
That is true. Yeah.
So,
you mixed some stuff and mastered a lot of it.
Yeah, that was the only thing I had done on the first label, just mixing and mastering, and still to Pop Spirit as well. Like that's I did a fair bit of that. So
yeah,
and especially
but
with the
by that
first
point, like I had had enough experience that I was mixing and then eventually mixing and mastering some of that label stuff as well.
Yeah. I don't remember like much about like the compositional process of the first comp. I guess because it kind of came together pretty quick for me. Like I don't think there was that much time between like wanting to do another comp and
we also collaborated on Alyssa's song on that comp.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck. Yeah, we had our hands all over that thing.
Yeah, and I think that's why that first comp has a pretty like cohesive sound, like because we were like doing or just like having our hands involved in a lot of it. I don't want to say like we're doing all of it or anything because
sure
everyone.
But I think I had at least a small hand on every single song in either the recording or mixing phase, and then you did as well in either the mixing or mastering phase, if not being like a primary songwriter on some of them.
I have really fond memories of this first comp.
The looks on people's like I showed the like mixes and like unfinished masters to like everybody in my life, and like getting to listen through it cohesively with them and seeing their expressions change from song to song felt so good. It was the most like elating, most like creatively validating thing
Major
I'd ever
Motion
experienced.
Picture I think is one of my favorite pedal fold songs actually. I like.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, that was the one that Tim and I didn't have any direct hand
I actually hardly did either. Like that one I actually was on a trip, and Ryan and everyone had like written something without me, and I was like, what? Yeah, and I was like, and they were like, yeah,
wow.
do you think this is cool? And I was like, fucking, this is so awesome, and everything. I was like, I'll write fucking lyrics on it, lickety split, and then like, yeah, and that one came together so quick, but which was funny because like we were already like deep, balls deep into fucking recording this fucking EP. that took forever, and then we just diverted and just banged out this 5-minute song with like a black metal bridge. I don't know, but I actually like, I think the song I remember the most fondly is My Accent. Yeah.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah.
I went back and listened to it for the first time in a long time recently, and I was like, wait, this is fucking awesome.
Astonished. And so, because like I had just met Brett. I had never met that motherfucker before in my life. Shouts out. And so Brett is so interesting. He's such an interesting guy. And like,
Brett's one of the weirdest people
great.
I've ever met. I love him so much.
Yeah, I just met him, and he throws this demo in there, and I'm like, holy fuck! I was like, who am I allying with? Like, it's like, I don't know. It just gave me this whole like thing. I was like, holy shit! I'm like working with some like talented fucking people in here. And so, so that was like one of the first things I heard. And then I was hearing early stuff of like your EP, Hazel, like of the new Twinkle Park stuff, and I was really impressed by that. So I was really smitten with like everybody. So I was like, you guys are so cool. And so you let me have my fucking hard ass fucking like hardcore band in here and stuff. So I don't know, it just like was really like, yeah, no, like there really is like this feeling like of like elation and like excitement brimming whenever I think about the time when we were making that first comp, because like, I don't know, it just felt like so much was happening.
It was so exciting.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably like the last time that oh my god, sorry, I just had a flashback to the last label. That we did 2 compilations on that first label, and the first one was all new material. I think it was three artists with 3 songs each, 4 artists with 4 artists with 3 songs each.
Kind of crazy. That's like
that's a lot of material.
That's
some
12,
of the
songs,
people,
like 4 people. That's it.
Like
whole EPs basically.
Right. Yeah. And then our second one, I think just by nature it had some songs that weren't like originally written for the comp. And that struck me a little bit weird, just because that was never how we did it, you know. I was happy to do it because it was the difference between having them on and not. Remember we had a math rock band on that second comp that I was like, oh, it would be really great if they could later release more music from us. And then one of the members of that band died.
Yeah, I remember that. And that was like also kind of another reason, like, I mean, among other things, it was just like this just feels weird to like continue this.
There were just so many things surrounding it that kind of like I'm not gonna say it was like some sort of like exorcist curse or whatever. Like it's not like the label was like plagued or anything, but there were just a lot of things about it that signaled like just fucking wrap it up and move on. But yeah, when it came time to do this comp, you know, for Pop Spirit, I was very adamant. Like, I want everybody to put new material out for it, and I, you know, the kind of subtext there was like, I really want it to be exclusive.
Yeah, well, I also think like early on in like developing Pop Spirit, we wanted to have and same thing with the first label. Like I think we like having like a cohesive like aesthetic and like just vision for the label. Like I remember we were putting in like a private channel in the Discord, just like aesthetic ideas, like Sonic covers and like artwork and stuff, and just like wanting to kind of emulate some of that, like that primary colors and like the simple shapes and stuff. And I think alongside that, you know, it was like you know, wanting to keep the music cohesive. Like everything was different obviously, but there was still like a cohesion there, at least like mentally to me, and part of that was like the relationships that we had and stuff, but like just wanting to keep cohesive cohesiveness throughout the
Yeah,
the
and I
label.
think one of the funny byproducts of that is I was at a point in my writing and recording where I kind of only knew how to do things one way. So like,
Oh yeah, same.
the guitars on the Andy Mercer track, or oh shit, I think the name of that one needs to get updated. I can't remember if he wanted that to be distinct or not. The guitars on Rodrigo's track and on the Larkspur track and on the Twinkle Park track all kind of sound similar because I was working with similar amp sim presets because those were the only ones I knew how to make sound okay.
Yeah. Also, like fewer guitars and like just less recording experience. Like you just naturally have that same sound, and I think the same thing with me too. Like a lot of that music, I mean, basically till the end of the end of Pop Spirit, like my music has a very similar sound. So
Right. Yeah. So I think the stars really aligned on that first release, and it kind of set like a gold standard for me. Like I just kind of wanted it to just really feel like that. The label as a whole.
And
you first.
No, I was just, I don't know, I'm just like looking at like just our releases, right?
Yeah.
And like that path from the first comp to like the second, it's like so many bangers. It's like
yeah, that's definitely what I kind of consider phase one of the label.
Right.
When we were kind of in our sicko period.
And we were all in the middle of like making things whenever we met.
Yeah, like we all had releases that we were cooking up when that comp, like that comp chronologically is almost like all of those songs come out like after the first full-length release on of most of the bands there. Like my Twinkle Park song was already written for the EP, and then I just put it toward the comp because at the time it was just so difficult for me to like write new material on command. The Larkspur song I think was done after we recorded or maybe not. It's a little hard for me to say. I think it was recorded after we recorded Throwing Light, which was it was recorded in a garage that was so cold we could see our breath. The Nice World song on there I think was done at least alongside the recording of the rest of that EP. The Rational Dream EP. And then like the Negatives was in the middle of being recorded when Major Motion Picture was done. So on and so forth, So we kind of like came to that with our A game ready. So it was a really, really fruitful first year for the label.
No, really until like the second year, I think things started to wind down a little bit. Like, not really wind down, but like releases got a little bit more intermittent. And
and I also think there was a little bit less connective tissue between them. Like, not just because I had moved, but just, kind of naturally we had all found our sounds a little bit more. But before we get to that second comp, I kind of just want to give ourselves the opportunity to say our pieces on those releases that came out between both comps. Obviously, like my record was primed to come out. Like I think it just kind of needed album art and mastering by the time the first comp was out, which is why they came out within like a month of each other, almost exactly. Same went with Throwing Light. I was in the middle of mixing it intermittently. I still really love Throwing Light. I think that's the closest thing I'll ever have to having worked on a Cabin album.
No, I love that album too. I still think it holds up. Like just the songs on there are just like good. They're really tight, and
it's so fucking weird. That's such a weird release. Yeah. And then Rational Dream was really fun to record because like we barely even knew Rodrigo when we first started working with him. So like the kind of like foundation of that record being recorded kind of lined up the foundation of our friendship.
I think that was also the first project you mastered too. So like
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would have been. Yeah, I don't really remember what the master on that sounds like.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not bad. And then obviously negatives is just like, I still think that's like the label's triumph. If you ask me, my favorite thing that the label put out, I think if not either the first or last comp, it's negatives.
Yeah, we put everything into it so hard that we had nothing. It was recovering after finishing that was kind of a lot. Also because like we kind of were hit by the fact that like it just still wasn't like, I don't know, like it's like the elation of releasing that finally was kind of followed up quickly by just going like, oh yeah, but like getting shows isn't any easier. And then it was kind of like, I don't know, there's like a weird mixed feeling there, but I'm still like incredibly proud of it. And I think it's like, I don't know, sometimes I like take myself back listening to it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like this is, I don't know, there's just some really crazy fucking shit on that album. And
when I listened to it most recently, there were a lot of points on it where I was like, how did this never stick out to me as like the moment on this record?
Yeah. And I was so pissed off writing it. I was so much of the lyrics are just so, I don't know, I'm so upset by so much and everything. I also like, incredible big shout out to Brett for also pulling the artwork together. I in like the beginning of the label, I was kind of quickly made aware of like his collage work, and I was really taken by it. And Larkspur had like prior artwork stuff kind of set out, you know, so it kind of felt right to kind of just ask and be like, do you think, because we've always had the issue of figuring out artwork, and is that when I felt confident enough to ask and see if he would like to kind of give one of his pieces over for use of the record. And it's great. I don't know, like it's kind of like that collage feeling also, like it contributed to like inspiration for me making the video for Strobe Light Baptism. And, and that video, like I just went on archive.org and I just found whatever like old, like whether it be propaganda or like educational films or something, just fucking insane shit that to put next to each other. And yeah, I don't know, I was that was also like kind of this was also around when I was like messing around with video stuff to do for like Explode When Defeated, whenever I was like working on trying to like find another thing to do. So I actually think that was the first time I messed around with Vegas, was for that music video, I think. Because I think I started doing the video essays like in 2019. So yeah, I don't know, that's just crazy. And then my podcast came like late 2019. Yeah. Weird time. Weird time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. In a sense, Pedal like Negatives is kind of the end of that band, but also
right.
It isn't.
The end of phase one. It's the end of phase one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was something with like, I don't know. Well, there's enough to do a whole other episode. I keep saying that, but like I keep wanting to stop myself because I really want to not.
It's fine to repeat some ground when we get to the the Pedal Fold episode.
Yeah, and I kind of want to pick Ryan's brain about it too, because
definitely.
Yeah, because he obviously is incredibly instrumental to that process and everything, and also like. I don't know. I feel like I say enough about the band. But yeah, no. I was so happy to have a place to put that, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it just really meant a lot. So I was really, really, I don't know, it just felt good to hear all the things you guys had to say about it.
Yeah, Brett's
And
really hard to please too, so seeing how much he gushed about that record was really
dude,
awesome.
yeah, he absolutely adored it. Like he had so many nice things to say about it.
Really sweet.
Yeah, incredibly outspoken about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the the Gabriel release was another one of the releases that I had recorded before I left, but that got mixed, mastered, and released afterward.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like yet another, along with Brighter Plan. Those were the two last releases that I had helped to record. And so I think with those, that was almost kind of like the end of the kind of like the first phase of Pop Spirit's kind of like canon, quote unquote, just in terms of like things that kind of wound up being cohesive, just by having a lot of shared players and musicians. Like Brett did drums and I think some extra guitar and vocals on that Gabriel record. He did some extra vocals on Rational Dream. And then I think Spencer did some like singing saw on Brighter Plan. So like we were all kind of freely working on one another's projects. And then Spencer also did some bass, wrote the bass parts for the Rational Dream EP. And then the KF Kid release was kind of in its own orbit a little bit, just by virtue of like I knew the members of that band just through the scene, and because Rodrigo was in a band that a few of their members were also in at the time. But yeah, that and the Hizzy release were like the two that I didn't really have like much of any hand in and didn't really hear before they came out, outside of hearing the material performed live. But they were great.
Yeah.
And I was really happy to have them on. And then Tim, if you have anything to say about the EP that you put out.
Oh.
Did I die?
What?
Did
you die?
What happened?
Oh, I thought that was a gag. I thought you did that as a joke.
No, I don't know what happened.
No, that's really funny. No, I totally thought that you just dipped when I asked about the EP.
No, I don't know. I guess the Discord just messed up. So
are you still recording and everything?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
so it was
Cool,
just
cool.
Discord. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, roll me back in. Where were we?
We're just talking about the releases for the second comp, and I asked if you had anything you wanted to say about the EP that you put out.
Oh, I mean, no, that's already all out there.
Yeah.
You know, I had really a hard time like finishing songs back then, and I think this was like the first time I was able to like put everything together. And you know, I mean, I don't really like listen back to that and think like, oh, this is like great or anything, but like I'm just like kind of proud that I got it done and like I have like that out there.
Yeah.
So you know, it's nice to have my name on something, even if it's not like the best thing ever or whatever.
Yeah. I do really like the art on it. Like, it looks great, I think.
Yeah, it fits in so well with a lot of the other releases on the label.
Yeah,
they're kind
I think
of wound up being a lot of like
a
parody.
Yeah, like I think like all the other work, I was just like, I think this could probably fit. I saw my brother was doing a lot of painting at the time and like just random paint projects and stuff. So I just had that canvas laying around and I was like, oh, like I should just like draw, you know, myself on this. Like that would be my EP cover. So no, that's it. I mean, I'm just happy that's out.
Yeah. So by the time we were working on the second Pop Spirit comp, it was a little bit weird because I think things had changed pretty significantly. I was in Southern California Brett was about ready to retire the Larkspur name in favor of a new solo project.
Yeah.
With new members. Rodrigo was working with new musicians and was in the process of forming a band, but hadn't quite got there yet. And then like Spencer on that Gabriel track had to record everything himself. Sounds great. I was really impressed because like I think he was kind of just figuring stuff out as he went. And then yeah, like we were just kind of all in different positions, so like the material that we were able to get out was just kind of inherently different.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't mean to imply that it's like better or that it's like worse or like less true to the label than the first comp. I just think it definitely wound up capturing the fact that we were in different spots.
Yeah.
Very transitional.
Yeah.
I really like there's definitely like disappointment on my end, like for pedal folds particularly, like with just kind of having nothing. And we were like maybe we should just reuse Flag Burner and stuff, because I know you were like you really wanted to have pedal fold on there.
Yeah, I wanted to have everybody on there, and I was totally fine with having a song from a previous release.
I wish we had I wish we had some. We actually, we technically, so Traffic, which is on the last one, which we will talk about, that actually already existed back with the Pop Spirit 2 compilation, but I don't know, we just didn't want to we didn't want to speak too soon about the future of the band. So yeah, we kind of just ended up like just having to throw out like what I guess would have been the next quote unquote single or whatever or something of negatives. So yeah, but that like oh no, so like there's like a bit of like weird disappointment on my end personally with Pop Spirit 2, but also it's like got one of like Resolve the intro is like one of my favorite things I've done with the label.
Likewise. That was so much fucking fun. I wrote that when I was in the midst of really bad writer's block, like probably my first really significant spell of writer's block. And so oh my god, I just hit my mic. Using that to get out of it, and then having it build on itself in so many capacities, and then having so many different hands on it felt really amazing.
Yeah, and that was another song where we like set back and forth kind of like different sections and things. Like, that was a lot of fun to like produce, and then not only to produce but then like to record and mix. Like it was just, that was such a fun experience because it was like we got like how many 4 people on that song, so it's like it's just a really cool achievement, and also just working across different like genres and just different sounds. It's just a really cool fucking song. Like
I don't know, it's like the first time I've ever done a verse on a song. right. It's like it's like one of those funny things to think about. Like I don't know, this is that one was really cool. I was like practically giddy about like about how it was coming out and everything. And
oh man, when we got Ryan's solo back.
Oh yeah, nothing beats that. Like just that, like that fits so fucking perfectly in that one bit.
Yeah,
and it's just like
he's an outstanding just unbelievable guitar player. Like just God, I don't know. Like it was like one of those things where it's like you meet him and you're like, oh, like this is another level. But that solo was great. I was so it's funny. I think like it was crazy for you guys to get back, but I was like watching him do it and I was like, yeah, this is what he does. Like this is like I'm like, it's normal to me whenever he'll fucking bang that out. So like that was incredibly funny. But like I also have like some pride about that track too, because I think that was like when I was at peak vocal performance, because I had just been recording so much, like for
Me too.
for pedal fold. So like I was really really happy with where my voice was at. So
Yeah.
being able to bang that out, and I only had to do a couple takes, so I was like feeling really happy. Like that is
It's
maybe
it's so nice to record a verse because you don't have to do like 1,000 takes for the whole song. It's like you can just do like 3 or 4 and it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so funny enough, like that track is maybe like the most smug and like proud I get of my vocals ever. And so just because I'm just like, yeah, I fucking killed that shit. And I still listen to it and I'm like, yeah, I killed that shit. So, like,
It's so good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, I think eventually I would really, really like to find an excuse to do another song like that. Like, like probably honestly just like more in the style of the stuff that I'm doing these days, but just like having as many of you pop spirit motherfuckers on as possible.
I would love to anytime. You know it.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
You know my verse fee. You know I'm jacking it up these days, but
my
it's still affordable.
$50K. Yeah, so then after that, we were in kind of a weird spot where like a lot of the releases that were coming out were just kind of solely handled by the artists. I don't even think I mastered or you mastered all of those releases. The first You're Something True single, I remember that came out, I think it was like in summer. No, it was in August, but that means it was still really, really hot in Southern California. So I would listen to it like just fucking sweating my ass off biking to and from work, just like on a loop.
Yeah.
Just because I loved that track so much. I thought it was just like just like a pop masterpiece.
Yeah, those were all a lot of fun to make the You Are Something True albums. Those were the only ones I really had my hands in until the last comp.
Yeah.
That You Are Something True, I think happening, I think for very obvious reasons, was like really inspirational, I think, to some of us. Because like Brett was able to just end something that he'd been doing for half his life and then just do another thing, and it sounded distinct and unto itself, and like while still following up what he had been doing. And I think that and then also not knowing where Pedalfold was going kind of planted the seed in me to kind of just muse about doing another project in general. And then when you were receptive to it one time, just in Discord chat, and you were like, oh, I'd love to help out and stuff, I think that was the germ of the idea of like, okay, well maybe this could be a band.
It's kind of cool. We had this like this divide as like me and Brett, and then Hazel and Nicky like forming Burned In and You Are Something True. Like,
that is
kind of found our thing. So.
No, that's really cool that happened.
It's funny because like up until that point, my involvement with Brett outside of mixing and mastering and recording was sort of ornamental. I was kind of taking his demos and we were recording them together and fleshing stuff out in that process. But I hadn't really had an experience where I was actively songwriting with another person until around 2020 when Burned In and when Chris and I started writing together. Obviously pandemic kind of like laid the the kind of groundwork for us to start actually like kind of acting on these kind of fleeting inspirations that we'd had to collaborate. I think that kind of like shift toward more meaningful collaboration, but like less of it, was kind of the distinction in our sort of quote unquote phase 2 of Pop Spirit.
Well, it's that, and it was also just having like releases done like solely by an artist or a group, like not as much like just like general cross pollination of like people on projects. So it wasn't like you or I like just did a mixing or something. It was like, okay, the band's doing this now, or we're collaborating. Like,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and that definitely felt a little bit weird at the time. I think I kind of felt almost a little out of place just because it wasn't what I was used to. But I also knew that there was literally no other way to go about it.
Yeah.
Just like functionally where we were at, like that was the only thing that made sense. I remember around the time Burned In, like I think just a bit before Burned In was officially a thing, Tim, you and I kind of tried to bounce a few tracks back and forth, and we just never really got anywhere.
Yeah, no, nothing really was really clicking much like the comp tracks or anything. I don't really know why that is. I think like we both, I don't know. To me, like I guess maybe wasn't like super passionate about those tracks, or some of the stuff that we were throwing back and forth versus like I don't know, some of the comp stuff we just like knew immediately like that was the right sound. But I know we had a couple songs which did, I mean, kind of did materialize into becoming the third comp intro, so, you know, it wasn't always.
We'll get there, but that comp intro is kind of like weirdly all encompassing. But yeah, I mean, you know, around that time we also did our first run of tapes with Thor's Positive Yellow tape. And that almost kind of seemed like a new horizon for the label.
Well, on the first label, every time we did merch, like it just didn't really go super well, or like it was just handled by one person, so it was that. But having it actually like stuff through the label, having a merch done through the label was actually kind of cool, and like it was actually a success for once. Just for everyone involved, like it actually ended up working out. So that was like a cool progression that we had. We didn't have at first, and it was something we wanted to do from the beginning too. Like we never had really gotten the chance to do merch and do like our own design and stuff. And I know like even in the beginning of Pop Spirit, we wanted to do like clothes and like things like that. We never really got around to it.
There was no way to see returns on what we were doing if something bombed. That was a lot of money.
I actually remember,
it was like
no, sorry, go on, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say like merch and doing like live streams were like the two fucking things that we just could never make happen. For as much as we wanted to, just logistically, it never really made sense outside of Positive Yellow.
Yeah. No, I don't know how people do merch. Honestly, it's gotten easier now that you can do like really like shitty like t-shirt designs. We could have done that back in the day, but it just wouldn't have been really what I wanted, or
it wouldn't have been satisfying.
No, it just would have like sucked, and it would have been lazy. And you know, now I think that market's gotten easier with like influencers doing like clothing brands and stuff. So there's probably companies to reach out to that do that. But
certainly not on the level we were at. Even after my channel had taken off. That is the other thing. Pretty shortly after I released Touched, and that kind of got like more buzz than I was expecting, the channel took off. And that was kind of a moment of like realignment for me with the label, where I was kind of like, oh fuck, like, you know, my main goal was always like, I want to, because, you know, this will sound shrewd, this might sound a little self-aggrandizing. When we started Pop Spirit, I was doing it with the knowledge that I think out of anybody on the label at that point, I had accumulated the people in my circles and the resources to be the most likely to kind of wind up landing somewhere online as a creative that has like recognition. And so I was thinking, like, if that is going to happen to me and I can't take my friends with me, it is significantly less meaningful to me. And it would be a waste of my, you know, whatever time in whatever spotlight I may have, if I don't have these other people with me that deserve it just as much as anybody, just as much as me. There's no sense in doing that. So when my channel did start to take off, that was kind of a moment where I was like, well, fuck, like if ever I was going to be able to get people to hear these bands that I love and these people that I love who are making this music that I love. It's this.
Yeah.
So that was why Pod Spirit came about.
Right. This is also when this happens.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We had going into 2021.
Yeah.
I knew that I was gonna have to move, and I didn't know how I was going to accumulate the money to do so. I think I've talked about this a little bit, but there was a huge moment of like diversification for me, basically. Where I was like, I'm just gonna do as much shit as possible, and whatever lands.
Yeah.
One of those things is like, well, maybe we can make Pop Spirit just like gain some significant traction by having a podcast where we bag like other more successful artists.
Yeah, it was really funny because I remember, so I remember in our first like meetings when this first formed in like 2018, like I think we had been like bringing up like the ideas of like what to do to kind of like to try to, you know, popularize the label a little bit and everything. And I remember I threw out I was like what about a podcast? Does that like sound like a thing we could do? And I think one of the first ideas we had for the I mean, first off, it was kind of just shot down. It was like, I don't know if we want to do a podcast. And then
that was Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tim was like, I don't want to do a podcast. And so I was like, oh, shit, yeah. And it was more like your guys' thing at that point and stuff. And I was kind of just like coming in. So I was like, oh yeah, totally cool and stuff. And I was like, podcasts are kind of annoying anyway. I had previous experience, so I was like, I get it.
That was my only reason. No, great idea to do a podcast. And I'm glad you guys did it. I was just like, I know how annoying those can be to me.
Right. Yeah.
So,
like, and at that point in time, if we had done it then, it probably would have had to involve you because you're one of the founders, right? And stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I totally get it and stuff. So like, it was just funny that like, I remember it got brought up and it was like, no. But like, and I remember like whenever we kind of talked about it again and stuff, we were so focused on it being for the label. Like we didn't want to lose sight of that. Which is so funny in hindsight, but we didn't want to lose we didn't want to lose that. So I think one of our ideas for the podcast is that like we would have like a rotating cast and it'd be just like, it would just be whoever was available. So like, it wasn't just going to be me and Hazel. But I think me and Hazel, I think it was a mixture of like, I don't know if there was that much interest in the other people wanting to do it and stuff. And also, I think me and Hazel just happened to be the two most available motherfuckers to do it. So we were just like...
and also like the two like most online by that point.
Yeah,
like,
we were both on Twitter
You
too
had
much.
A podcast. Right. I had all of these other like half-baked ventures. This was before my channel had taken off. But like, you know, I had a small following that like... You know, I knew we could kind of use combining our forces to kind of elevate that a little bit.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a point where I was like, well, wait, what about Nicky?
Yeah.
Like maybe we can make this work.
Yeah, right. Oh no, is this just looking at the timeline, like just looking at the releases next to each other? It's so weird how quickly and like how this shit like just happened. And so like pandemic happened. I don't know, it's like seeing as much as I forget our Burned In EP and then Touched or Been Touched By in a row, like those feel like way like farther apart in my mind,
right? Yeah,
than just seeing them
as
lined
much as
up.
I forget was written in fucking 2018 to 2019.
Yeah, it was written a while
but
back,
it wasn't until 2020 I sat on it for almost a year. Before it finally saw release because there were just a few things that needed to get done for it.
Yeah, I think like Tim and I had heard it like a full year before it actually came out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy that like the pandemic time, I mean it's not crazy that it was like productive for you but like cuz like I hit pandemic time when I was like come on, like I love staying at home. Nothing will be wrong. I'm always on the computer, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And it's like just horribly unproductive, like nothing gets done. I mean, I was also doing school like full time.
Right.
So like that put a big like damper on my time and like what I could do creatively. And like that's sort of been a big tension ever since, like the past 2 years of just like grinding school to be done with an undergraduate degree. But I was also young when I started label, so I'll give myself some credit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's hard to know how to monopolize your time until you've just like had a lot of time spent not monopolizing your time.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm coming to your conclusion, which is like diversify and just do a bunch of like random shit and see what sticks. Like, now that I have free time again, it's
right.
Really
Yeah.
So.
If we started the label in 2020, we'd probably have like a label VTuber, right? Like we would just have like
oh yeah, for sure.
we would have like a little mascot or whatever.
You know what, that actually does remind me. I do need to shout out when we dropped the second comp. That was when we introduced the new typography, courtesy of Nat King, who is seriously like one of the most talented people.
Oh yeah, super talented
on the planet. It's just incredible work all around. Was extremely patient with how many revisions that I had for that album art.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I wanted it to. Not the album art. The typography.
Yeah, that was a lot. I remember that.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It was, I mean, that was awesome to have that done as well. And if there's ever another venture that I need that kind of graphic design for, I'm definitely going to Nat King. So
absolutely, yeah. Nat is someone whose work, like if you're invested in just like digital music these days, like you've almost certainly seen his work. Like he's done a lot of different stuff, and it's all fantastic. Huge fan. But around pandemic, things kind of like got stirring again. But it was still like, it was this unfortunate thing where for me, having a lot of like net label bands and then like one really intimate like one-to-one local band with Chris.
Yeah.
We were able to be really productive from like a songwriting and recording perspective, but then like, certain other musicians on the label who had bands like weren't able to see each other because there was a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Chris and I had the benefit of kind of only knowing each other. And after the point where we were both only working at that rehearsal studio and our actual like the amount of interaction we had with other people became very, very minimal. It became easy for us to see each other and record pretty frequently. But obviously that was extremely not the case with everybody on the label. So it was kind of like a weird thing where things kind of like the engine revved and then didn't take off necessarily. But that rev still produced a lot of work that would wind up seeing release, even if not immediately.
Yeah, because I think 2020, I think we initially wanted to do another comp like end of 2020, 2021 maybe.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot
we were on pace to have one a year at that point.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, that engine was definitely revving and like not really, especially with the comp, not really going anywhere. So.
Yeah, like it just kind of became clear that we didn't really have like if Rodrigo was gonna get together with Nice World and record a song, it kind of needed to be for an album because they were working on an album and they were working on an EP.
Yeah.
If Petalfold was gonna get together to work on stuff, it was going to have to be like under very particular circumstances because you weren't even in the same state at that point.
Yeah.
And then Brett was focused on getting settled in Southern California and assembling local musicians, and Spencer had kind of shifted focus to other things and was also just busy with life. Like it became really, really difficult for us to all get together to put out finished material, which is why eventually when it we kind of had to come to the conclusion that it just wasn't really going to make very much sense to keep the label going anymore, and we decided to do just like one final split, or one final comp. It was like, it doesn't fucking matter if everything is finished or not, because I don't want to do it unless we can all get our hands on that ball.
Yeah.
And also at that point too, it was just like, because everyone is so busy, because everyone has these other things going on, just like getting anything out there is like, we've said it before, but just like it kind of just bookmarked where we were at that time, and like the end of the label and stuff. So it's just good to have like that memory of where we were at that time and what we were doing, regardless of the work that was produced.
The cool part though, and I think I talked to Hazel about this whenever Hazel first brought to me the idea of the kind of the third comp being kind of comprised of all like demos and stuff, right? Is that like it's a snapshot, it's a perfect snapshot of where we are at the end of this, but it's also like literally blueprints for all of our futures and stuff, like like going forward. Like there's like so many of these are tracks that are probably going to end up finished one day, or or end up reused in some other way or whatever, or they're goodbyes from certain places, and there's going to be a new band in the wake or something, like
or even just like kind of signaling like a shift in direction.
Like again, like Traffic is a song that like we had for a while, but it's a song that like we had so much fun with and is so well received from the people that have heard it that it's staying around, and we have tracks. I
fought Nicky to release that song for like 2 years. I think I've talked about that elsewhere already, but I was really adamant about getting it out there.
And since then we've recorded, and like there's other, or we've written, and there's like other tracks, and Traffic still has a place in there. So like that is in some form, like, unless like whether or not it changes or not, it's something later. I don't know, like there's just so many things on here. I just think about like, I don't know, just it's just cool seeing where it's gonna go. Chris's track, like I just want to hear more. And so I want to hear more.
He's got an EP out.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh,
he released it like super stealth, like right after the comp came out.
God, yeah.
And it's fucking awesome. I love those songs so much.
Yeah, and Brett released an EP directly after too. Like
we got to preview that.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, just it's just so sick. Like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of really great work on there, and I was so happy and kind of sentimental, kind of listening to it and kind of checking it out with all you guys and stuff whenever we were kind of listening to it one last time before releasing and stuff. Shout out to Videotape as well. That is I don't think I've said it in like on Twitter. I don't think I really talked about it yet on Twitter and everything, but that is my favorite song I personally have ever been involved in to date.
I'm so fucking proud of that song.
It's me and Hazel have talked about it and stuff, like, and that feels like
took us a fucking year to write.
Yeah, but that feels like the song where we finally figured out what Burned In is, I think.
Yeah.
I think like there's a path forward. I think we kind of know where we're going. There's other
like
things.
When we were working on the Incomplete Thought, it was very much so like we want to show that we have range, and I think that song was like, okay, maybe we don't need range. like maybe that was more like we may have thought that that's what it was, but I think we were kind of
right. The fucking title of that thing is way more accurate than I ever imagined it would be, and so because I just kind of threw that out because I was like, oh, we'll get back to this later and stuff. But
Incomplete Thought,
but like the more like I come back to it and stuff later, I'm just like, wow, that really is literally an incomplete thought. Like so many of the things that, not to say it's bad or anything, it's just like, we just didn't know, like,
Yeah.
you know, what we were going for yet and everything. So videotape just like was such a crystallization. That second half of that song coming together was like fucking like euphoric for me. I was like so happy it was coming together. And yeah, I don't know, it's just fucking Brett's song on that fucking thing is fucking bananas. Thor's song on that thing is fucking bananas. Like, Pop Spirit forever, man. Like, Pop Spirit forever.
Pop Spirit for fucking ever.
Forever.
Yeah.
And ever. And ever. Forever. I'll just keep saying it, you know.
Just like my song.
Just like your song. Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, when that came out, and beforehand I teased that it kind of dovetailed into a broader Twinkle Park announcement. But then the next announcement I made was that tapes were coming out.
Oh!
And that wasn't the announcement I intended to.
Damn.
I haven't actually explicitly stated this anywhere, but I'm retiring the name.
Yeah!
I'm pivoting to a new project when when that time comes, you'll find out about it. I think I will probably put a single. I've been plotting this a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put out a single that is essentially like this new project featuring Twinkle Park. Pulling a Kesha. Featuring $sign Kesha.
Oh, fuck, man, that Kesha
just to
song
kind of make the connective tissue there clear.
Wow, yeah,
because,
I didn't realize that, I forgot that you know, you hadn't, like, mentioned that yet and everything, so yeah.
I mean, I decided this, like, a fucking year ago.
Yeah, no, and I'd known about it for, like, forever, too.
Yeah. I kind of kept forgetting that it wasn't already out in the open.
So you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Not only did...
I probably won't even announce it outside of this context for the time being.
I'm devastated.
I mean... Well, the good news is that I still plan on supporting Twinkle Park as far as, like, you know, I want to put out more tapes for as long as people want them.
Right.
Just because I don't want them to be like a really, like, small commodity or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, from there, you know, my focus will mostly be with this new project. I have a name picked out, but you'll hear it when the time comes.
Oh, yeah. And
you may have already seen it somewhere.
Yeah. For the keen,
you maybe just don't know it.
For the keen-eyed among you, yeah.
Yeah.
The I don't know. This is I feel like there's like a genre of listener or whatever that's like fucking like the despair emoji and stuff, but like it's because like Pod Spirit ended this year, and then fucking we start up a new thing, and then now like, so it's like we're just different people now. like you know, like going into 2023, we've just like done like
we've metamorphosed.
Yeah, we
much
have.
Like
we have.
Human insects would.
Exactly. We have cast off our exoskeletons, absolutely in an absolutely disgusting fashion. But now we're more beautiful, and we have I don't know. We have like spots or something. I don't know.
Wings. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, like I don't know. It's just kind of interesting that like going into the next year, we'll be working on like a lot of new stuff. And
everyone will be brand new.
Yeah, be brand new, and Pop Spirit. I think it's funny that you mentioned that like. You finished college, because like I just hadn't even really thought about that, but like I mean I just hadn't really thought about that and everything, but like Pop Spirit like lasted for exactly 4 years, so it's like this entire college experience. 2018 to 2022, like it's your entire college experience was like with this.
And nobody comes out of college the same way they came
exactly
in,
so, right. Fucking weathered a whole lot, but gosh, yeah, I don't know. This trip down memory lane though, like I'm really happy though, just because like kind of crystallized. I really hadn't thought about that first comp in like forever too. So like it kind of just like I don't know, just brought into focus like, man, we did a really fucking special thing here, and like this is a good collection of releases, and I'm glad that popspirit.bandcamp.com is still going to be there, and people can, you know, check it the fuck out and
for the love of God,
and celebrate it.
Please stop buying every song individually because you're able to. I haven't disabled those because it's a pain in the ass. But stop buying shit on there. It's done. Support the artists more tangibly.
Yeah.
Buy shit from their fucking Bandcamps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most
Just
of
send
those
me
releases
money.
are elsewhere. Yeah, just send them money.
Yeah. I want you guys to send me a manila envelope, right? And like, I'll drop like a location on my Twitter, right? Of like coordinates, and I need you guys to drop like a manila envelope filled with money.
Geocaching. We're
yeah,
bringing
right.
that back.
yeah. Geocache me a paycheck, and I will pick it up, and none of you will interact with me, but I'll have your money. So
I want a geocache. I want someone to drop a manila envelope with a Ridge wallet, and inside of the Ridge wallet is a Bitcoin wallet, and inside that, when you open it, it links to the Pop Spirit NFT, and I want that.
Could you fucking I think we had kind of closed shit up before that was ever like on the table to even joke about. This is actually something that I kind of forgot to talk about. Not to circle back too hard, but like, I think part of the reason why it was a little bit difficult for Pop Spirit to find a sort of footing among an audience was because we didn't really have a good social media presence up until the podcast started.
Right.
Just because like I fucking hate that fucking like, oh, I'm like making like a sassy tweet from the fucking artist from the fucking Weibo account. Like it's just fucking corny.
Twitter. Yeah, it just doesn't really make any sense. Like, and it's just like, I don't know, for some reason that kind of attitude has gotten traction, or like did get traction. It's probably not really popular anymore, but at the time, like, that was kind of popular, and it was not really something that I think any of us had interest in doing. Like, I'm always trying to get off social media. So it's like, I don't really want to affect that. I don't really want to do corporate Twitter either. So that was, I was just happy to make the spreadsheet that we could put our finances into, and send emails occasionally.
Right.
I feel like I'm happy with how things wound up, though.
Right.
I think much like the guy from Breaking Bad, I think this was always a thing that was more for us than for anybody else.
Just like the guy from Breaking Bad. But fuck yeah, like Pop Spirit, yeah.
Tim, what do you have any plans for the future in terms of releasing stuff or working on stuff?
I have no plans for the future, Hazel.
Nice.
I'm just gonna start decaying. If I do release anything in the future, which I probably will, it won't be under my name. It'll be under some other thing. I just have to find that name first.
Oh, interesting.
And, I'm also retiring, just because you're doing it. I have to copy you.
Well, Twinkle Park is open now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good.
Move in. Like you can get a lease. Under it.
Yeah.
Can I rent the name Twinkle Park?
Honestly, that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be funny. Yeah. But no, I don't have any like immediate plans or anything. I'm just trying to figure out life at a college now, and not that it was really worth anything, but I'm smarter now, I guess. Maybe.
I love how literally everybody I know personally that has finished college is like, no, yeah, that wasn't worth it at all. That sucked.
Oh yeah, no, if I get my loans, forgiven, which is maybe unlikely now.
Hey, cross our fingers. Cross our fingers.
It'll be totally worth it. But if I have to pay anything back, then it won't be worth it at all. So it's just I'm just figuring out life now. So I'll be on Twitter, I guess, at Lindsay _, but I'm usually private. I'm applying for grad school now. So doing the other useless thing that you do when you're finished with college. So just maybe seeing how that works. That's why I'm private right now, but I'll probably be back public Twitter at some point. So
yeah. But it wouldn't have felt right going down this trip though and everything without having you on there and to kind of give your side of the story and stuff.
The tell-all narrative.
The untold story.
Extremely stubborn.
How Hazel likes to construe things. She's always crafting narratives.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. You know me.
Yeah, some of the stuff you just say is just outlandish, and I had to come on here and correct the record, and make sure everyone knew that I am actually Twinkle Park. So.
Yeah, all this time.
Yeah, Hazel's been.
Why do you think I never sang on anything?
Hazel's been renting it from you, actually.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it's expensive.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I had to support myself somehow. College is expensive. I had to get through, pay rent, all this stuff.
Do we have like a bullshit question we could answer just to kind of close things out?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I thought that'd be fun. Would you rather be a cat or a dog? And so, like, it's just something.
Sylvie asks, do you have any favorite bands that feature saxophone?
Saxophone.
That's a good one to have Tim on for.
All right.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know.
I gotta give it to Natsumen.
Oh,
Natsumen. Think about that. Because saxophone is one of those instruments that's like it's always like a feature, It's always they get someone to do the saxophone solo.
yeah. Like my absolute best example right now is a very recent release. It's oh man, I need to have his name actually. You guys, it's the Oxbow live album that just came out.
Right.
They got the saxophonist. And I'm very bad because I don't know his name offhand, even though he's very famous. It's Peter Brotzman or Brotzman. Eternal Reminder of Not Today, and it is incredible. But it's also just an album, so I don't know if it's like that qualifies as like a full band and everything. But if that guy just joined Oxbow, I would have zero qualms because that shit lifted those songs to even higher heights. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Callous Cowboys sometimes get a saxophone player. They have like 9 people on stage all the time, so it's like, I don't know, like. I don't know. I don't know too many. I almost want to co-sign I almost want to co-sign Natsumen with you because Natsumen is the shit and stuff. But,
I've never listened to them, but I am also co-signing that.
Yeah. They have the craziest cover of Surf Wax America.
It's so fucked up.
Just saying, like they put that shit in the craziest time signatures.
It's so good that it's the only instance on this podcast in which I'm willing to invoke Weezer.
Yeah. Every other time is
no.
They're the band that we must not name. Yeah. But yeah, God, man. Honestly though, like I don't know, just with Pod Spirit and everything, just think about how far this podcast has come. We were talking about it shortly before the show, but like, it's just so funny, like. Thinking about like the first few episodes and just being like, what is this? And then just like, like getting
we tried to have topics in like those first like 2 episodes.
Oh yeah. I love like we were DMing each other like, what do you want to talk about on the like it's just. But nowadays it feels like, oh no, that feels like such like an alien like trying to learn how to like how humans do podcasts thing or whatever.
Right, yeah.
It's like where it's like no, we just get on and say whatever the fuck shit rolls off our brain.
Nah, all those popular like podcasts on like YouTube and like the video podcasts like on TikTok and stuff. It's just people shooting the shit. So that's literally all people want to hear.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's just like, just whatever,
It's just whatever.
It's just whatever. But. I want to just combining that old podcast stuff with all like on top of all the other stuff we just talked about, like with all the music and everything. Like that's a good legacy. That's a good little thing to leave. So I'm really proud of it, and I'm really glad.
Yeah, Pop Spirit. I think it really all came together. I'm really proud of what we did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. No, I'm really happy with it too. I still have it on my resume. I'm showing off my skills. I can organize projects. I can make Excels. So, I hope to get a job because of
I hope
this.
somebody goes onto the Bandcamp trying to learn more about this project you had, and then see that Thor has a song called "King of the Iron Fuck."
I don't think any employer has ever looked at any of my references, any of my past
No, of
jobs.
course not. They never do. You can just lie.
Yeah.
Just fucking say
You can
whatever.
absolutely just lie.
Yeah.
Just put down your friend's phone number and tell them that if
That's
an
what I
unknown
do.
number calls, you just have to pretend like you're the manager at fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking
I just have like my
whatever.
girlfriend, like my aunt, my uncle, just
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I told Target applying for a cashier position that I was the CFO of Google, and they believed me. Yeah.
They hired you on the spot.
Hired me on the spot. They're like, "Holy fuck." Working at our establishment, and it's like, yes, sir.
I want to start from the bottom. I want to understand the whole corporate structure.
I want to start over. I'm on New Game Plus. I'm trying to just I'm trying to just start right over and then fucking work back up, man. So yeah.
Young people these days, they don't want to work, so I'm trying to understand why. And I'm on a mission.
So I'll be scooping popcorn at your Target.
Says the CFO of Google.
right. The CFO of Google.
I actually was scooping popcorn at Target for a lot of Pop Spirits Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a Target for a short period of Pop Spirit as well.
Oh
So
my God.
That's right. I joked about you being fucking Alex from Target.
Yeah,
we talked about turning you into a fucking Pop Spirit viral marketing campaign.
Someone takes a picture of me like bagging, just like the little heart eyes emoji.
We all three were working at Target at different
That's
points.
so fucked up. That's so fucked up.
I was working at
The great
Target.
equalizer.
I was working at Target like recording negatives. So yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Fucking working class heroes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. That's what this podcast is all about. That's what the label is all about. It'll never die.
One of those flags, but with a red and tan line or whatever. For all the true heroes. In those khakis, like what are the khaki line? Sorry, I'm making a dumbass joke.
I fucking you remember how they tried to act like it was a big deal that during the holidays you could wear jeans?
Yes, I do
What
remember.
the fuck was up with
When
that
I
shit?
worked there, I was allowed to wear jeans.
Like
the whole time?
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
When did you work there?
I
Over
worked
the
there
winter?
it was summer.
What the fuck?
My
they just really didn't give a shit.
yeah, no,
Maryland fucking
This is New Jersey.
Targets are
New
built
Jersey.
different.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah,
They
really
don't give a shit
fuck.
over there.
well, no,
You have to work naked. They won't turn you away.
my
Probably not.
They have something you can hook your name
The whole
tag
time,
onto.
the whole time I was there, I did not have a name tag.
Oh, I started using my coworkers' name tags.
Nice.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So
they
that,
gave me
if,
one
if
that
they ever
had
complained
like.
to the manager, it would be someone that wasn't me. Either that or I'd use the new employee one, so people would be nice to me.
Right. Yeah, I had one that was like a previous employee, and then like they would put like tape over it and write my name. But like I didn't like wearing that because I thought it looked stupid, so I just never wore it. And I'd only see my boss maybe once a week, and he would like bother me about it. But everyone else that I saw that worked there, I was just like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten a name tag yet. I told HR, which I did, but it was like 2 months ago.
My sister did tell me that they don't require them to wear khakis anymore, which is crazy.
Really?
So,
The end of an era.
Yeah, they really told us that we could wear jeans as a fucking treat. Oh yeah, as what a stupendous little gift I've been given to wear my jeans that I already own.
Yeah. I had to buy khakis for that job.
Yes.
You know what that does to a person?
Yeah. Breaks your spirit.
It breaks your fucking
Khakis.
spirit. Well, on that note.
Thank you all so much for listening and for supporting the label and this funny little podcast by extension. If you're not familiar with the label, thank you for listening.
Yes.
Regardless, I hope it was interesting. I hope it made you feel fondly on creative endeavors you've had in the past.
Yeah. Stay tuned in another couple weeks for our fucking best of 2022.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who submitted. I closed it a little bit too early just because I happened to have the time pretty much immediately when I did to tally everything, and that was going to be true for a lot of the rest of the year. So unfortunately, there are some really late 2022 releases that are going to be missing from the viewer polls. I'll try to be a little more deliberate next year, but who's to say how smooth that'll go? We're still figuring this shit out.
Yeah, new ventures, new roads, new all that stuff. So
greener pastures. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a ride.
I'm really hoping that recording and editing and releasing that will kind of be like the last thing that we do.
Yeah, I think it actually might be for me.
Or rather, the last thing that I have to do before the end of the year.
I actually think it might be for me because we have a break planned for like we've been letting people know at the Patreon and stuff that like there's gonna be 2 weeks at the end of the year where we're just not like I think it'll be like December 20 something or whatever, like we'll record our last thing and release something, and then we won't be back until January 6th or whatever.
Our end of the year thing, it looks like it's going to come out on the 21st.
Yeah.
Or wait, am I doing that right? Episode comes out on the 14th, and then we record the 21st. No, it'll come out on the 28th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I figure, I don't know, maybe we'll just take like a 2-week break, miss an episode, whatever, it's fine.
Who cares?
I kind of want to spend January trying to finish up an album that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm. So
we'll see how that goes.
The first new thing. So
for
anyone listening, they'll fucking know it's coming soon. Okay. That was a podcast. Yeah. I'm done now. I quit. I'm clocking out.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Fuck
you for
this
having
shit.
me.
I'm out.
Bye-bye.
Uh,
I'm taking the khakis off.
Bye-bye.